provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Happy November, happy Kindiki Day. Are we calling that? It's Kindiki and Diwali and all those things. So happy Kindiki Diwali.
Well, history is being made here.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yes, it is.
And we can say anything and whatsoever it is that we like to say. But we are seeing the robust nature of our Constitution. And we are getting to talk about it, and we're actually beginning to see it in action.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So our show continues, and we have several things to talk about. But first of all, let's tell you about Tala. All right? Tujijenge na Tala. Why? Because Tala, like we said, in Kikamba, in Kitaita, in all those languages, what is Tala, Ashley, in Kikamba?
No.
Count.
It's a place.
Kotala.
It's to count.
Kotala. It's Kotala. Kotala. Count. Counting. Now, Tala is, I'm sure you know Tala, Ashley. You've heard of Tala. You've seen Tala.
Yep.
Yes, Tala is one of those digital lenders regulated by the Central Bank of Kenya, licensed as well by the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner. And all those things are important because as you sign up for Tala, you are signing up basically and saying, I can ask you to lend me some money. And so it's a relationship that is based on trust. So why should I lend you money? I will lend you money because you have allowed me to look at how you are basically behaving. And how will I know how you behave? Just by giving me a bit of access to your data. And they'll tell you this is the data that we have access to, and this is what we will do with it, which is just using it to gauge when you're applying for a loan. They will not ask you for a title deed, for a left lung, for a logbook, for nothing of the sort. They'll just say, all right, so how much do you require? 5,000 shillings. We assess you. We see, all right, so 5,000 is good enough. We can trust you with 5,000 shillings. When will you pay it? Between 1 and 61 days. When do you want to pay it? So with Tala, you're the one who determines and says, I want to pay within 45 days. Or I want to pay in 20 days. I want to pay in 5 days, in 10 days. Even if you said you want to pay in 40 days and you pay by the 10th day, that's fine. And it works well for you. It also improves your rating. So the next time you come and ask them for 6,000 shillings, they tell you, yeah, we can lend you 6,000. Actually, your limit now is 7,500. You want to take the entire 7,500? No, I only need 6,000. Okay, take your 6. When do you want to pay it back? I want to pay it within the next 15 days. Okay. If you get to the 15th day, you pay. And so on and so forth. And they say, Tala is your companion. You see all those things that we're talking about? It's because at some point you will need money and you do not have someone to call. You don't have float in your M-Pesa.
Yep.
And your bank account is at that point where the bank tells you, wait, watch your jokes. Surely.
Negative.
Hata wewe. Hii ni account yako unaulizia maya mtu mwingine because yako haina kitu. See? So, think of a companion, a financial companion that you want to walk around with. Download Tala from Google Play. City, please tell us about studying in Ireland. Yeah. And you said there's an Irish embassy in Kenya.
Yeah, there is an embassy, and it's somewhere in Parklands, in High Ridge, a place called Manyani Road. Okay? Now, as matters around this particular subject would have it, there is a fair taking place. Fair being F-A-I-R. Okay? No, not fair. Not taxi fare. Fair. Okay? Right. So the official study in Ireland fair is brought to you by Cradle, spelled C-R-A-Y-D-E-L. And it will be at Gallant Mall, Parklands. Now, how do you get there and how do you ensure that you benefit from this fair? Well, you have to register. Cradle.com. That is how you register. And once you register, you will be able to get admission, and you then can benefit from direct access to top universities in Ireland, discover Ireland's career opportunities, and get expert advice on visa guidance. Okay? Those will all be available. Now, the participating universities are quite a number, so let me mention a few. There's Griffith College, University of Galway, Ndu's favorite, University of Limerick, Dublin City University, Technological University of the Shannon, Independent College, and University College Cork. All these are quality universities in Ireland. Yes.
All right. So the person that we've been talking to here on the side Kidogo is Ashley Muteti. Ashley is the founder and executive director of the Zuri Nzilani Foundation. You'll tell us more about it. And you told us November is what month?
World Prematurity Awareness Month.
World Prematurity Awareness Month.
Yes.
Prematurity in what?
Premature babies. So this month we are celebrating all premature babies. Babies born too soon.
Okay.
Yes.
There's a lot of the many questions, including what is babies born too soon? What does that mean? How do we get there? And then why do we need to actually keep talking about this? Welcome to the show.
Thank
we'll
you
discuss
so
all
much.
this very soon. First of all, CT will give you the day's proverb. This week the proverbs have been from the state of
Libya. Libya.
Okay.
Did you know that Libya was once an early Christian center in the 5th and 6th century?
No.
Well, even I didn't until I started reading into this. So do not fear, you are not alone. Eric, remember earlier on you mentioned the internationality of this particular show. Yesterday, I got a call at around 10 o'clock.
PM or AM?
PM. There's a friend of ours called Dr. Kurokot. He's in Burundi and he was talking to a friend of his who's Canadian, but DRC by origin. And why they called at that particular unearthly, ungodly hour was to tell me that this gentleman watches the show every single day.
From where? From Canada, from Burundi,
From Canada.
from DRC?
From Canada.
Okay.
And actually even got to talk to him.
Very good.
Yes.
Very good.
So I thought I would mention that.
Canadian is DRC from
Wow,
origin.
DRC, but he's now Canadian.
Lives in Canada.
Yes.
But he was speaking to you from Burundi.
He's speaking out from Burundi.
Well,
The internationality of this whole thing.
very, very, very.
Kabisa, the proverb. Fish eats fish, and he who has no might dies.
Fish eats fish, and he who has no might dies. Ashley, what do you think this proverb is saying?
Fish eats fish. And
He who has no might
dies.
dies.
I don't know. A battle or
Well,
something.
The beauty of an interpretation by you, meaning it has to be your understanding of it, not what you think our understanding is. You can't possibly be wrong even if you try. Yes. So tell us what you think.
Maybe a battle.
Okay.
Yeah.
A battle
A fight.
about what?
Trying to think fish is
Don't
not
think
as
too-
strong.
Don't think too hard. Just go with the flow, whatever comes to mind.
Fish eats
It's fish.
And
He who has no might dies.
Wow, that's a challenging. What do you think, Eric?
it doesn't work like that. That's not how it works.
No.
Oh my God. It's
Actually, easy to tell.
wow, it's 7 a.m., guys.
It's not an exam. Okay.
You said it's a
fine.
battle.
Okay.
A battle between what? Between fish? Fish eats fish.
Yeah.
He could be the fish here. He who has no might dies.
I think fish doesn't have strength.
Okay.
That's what I would think.
That's what you think.
Yeah.
So because it doesn't have strength, what happens to it?
The death part comes to play.
They die.
Okay.
Because fish has no might.
Yeah.
It dies.
Point well made.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell us.
No, that's your interpretation. It's your interpretation that we're interested in.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But since you ask,
Yeah.
think about it. Fish does eat fish. Okay?
Yeah.
Anything that is in water, fish will eat. Okay? But when they say he who has no might dies, big fish feed on small fish. Bigger fish feed on big fish and the small ones. How do you relate that to mankind and how we go about our affairs? You've heard of a man eat man society?
True, yeah.
Okay. you can carry on with your thinking from there.
Okay.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Meona?
Yeah.
Meona?
Yeah.
Very good.
I can see it clearly.
Very good.
Thank you so much for that.
So, premature babies, how do you define that?
Premature babies are babies born before 37 weeks or before 35 weeks, all the way maybe to 26. There are women who have given birth to babies at 26 weeks, which is around 6 months gestation. Yes, so that's how we categorize preterm babies.
Okay.
Yes.
So, is that the same? Can we interchangeably use those words, preterm and premature?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
I mean, it's one and the same thing.
What causes children to be born premature?
There are a number of causes. One being the second leading cause of maternal deaths, which is preeclampsia, hypertension in pregnancy. That's one. We also have infections, nutrition deficiencies. Yeah, these are some of the key things that actually are the leading cause of premature births. Yes.
So, tell us about the Zuri Nzilani Foundation. What is it all about and what do you do?
Great. So my name is Ashley. I am founder and executive director at Zuri Nzilani Foundation, which is a non-profit organization that is leading a transformative movement in maternal and newborn health with the aim of reducing maternal deaths and enabling well-being. Our work is in underserved areas, and we have our key pillars being training, social support, advocacy, and research. Yes.
Why was it founded? When did you found it?
In 2019, after my own personal experience with severe hypertension, in which I gave birth to a preterm premature baby at 30 weeks, around 7 months gestation. And it was a pretty, pregnancy is bliss. You don't think you'll have any complication. I even in my circle, I've never seen anyone who has suffered as a result of being pregnant. And personally, I was admitted in hospital for a full month because I was pregnant, and it never occurred to me. And after I gave birth at 30 weeks, my baby, Zuri, stayed in hospital for 49 days and succumbed to prematurity complications. And that has been my driving force to really talk about these issues around maternal complications and newborn health. And even in my second pregnancy, and actually all my pregnancies, I have experienced preterm birth. My second baby was born 975 grams and stayed in hospital for 3 months just to observe until she was 2 kgs and we were released. And my third baby was 35 weeks. That one is a bit fair and was born 2.3 kgs. So that my journey on maternal health has really shaped this foundation, and just to create awareness about these challenges that exist and a lot of people don't talk about, and so that women can take charge of their health. Yeah.
So tell us about that your first baby.
Yes.
Zuri. You say you were admitted for an entire month.
Yes.
While pregnant. What led to your admission?
So I started swelling and I started having serious headaches. But
was it sudden?
Yeah, it was pretty sudden because my pregnancy was okay until the 24th week when I started feeling pretty unwell. And you see, these complications or these symptoms are quite similar to a pregnancy symptom, like headaches, swelling. It's obvious, yeah. But it was unusual. Swelling on my face, on my hands, on my feet, and the headaches were constant, and they did not. Like I was used to take painkillers, and it's still there. So when I went to hospital, that's when they checked, and they were like, "Oh my God, your pressure is so high, we can't even release you. You can't go home." And I'm like, people have high blood pressure and still walk, and you will give me medication, and I go home. But I really didn't understand how severe it can be. And so they kept me in hospital to monitor me and try to prolong the process so that I can at least give birth at a time where it's viable for a baby to survive. Yes, and that's why they kept me in hospital for quite some time. And even during my stay in hospital, like, it was quite challenging, because now there's a point they were like, we can't keep this baby for long, because now your organs are starting to be affected.
Wait, did your pressure not reduce?
No, it did not.
So from the moment of admission,
Yeah.
even with that observation,
Yes.
and them working to stabilize you, it was still shooting.
It was still high.
What was causing this?
So still till today, there's no real root cause of why hypertension happens. But there's some studies that say it's as a result of a weak placenta. And quite a number of women are at risk of getting it. So it's just a matter of management at this point. When doctors diagnose you with hypertension now, it's just the treatment and the management. Yeah.
City.
The story that you tell is a story of pain, difficulty, confusion, and then discovery, a certain understanding, sadness, tragedy, but then again, the children or the child is born preterm and lives, so there's joy in that.
Yeah.
Are there things that you can look at and things which distinguish a preterm baby from any other baby that is born full term?
Yeah. Now, preterm babies develop in an incubator as opposed to a full-term baby who now develops in the womb. I carried my baby's diaper. Here it is. This is a pen. This is how tiny she was. So a full-term baby definitely is bigger.
Wow.
You see? So this is her tiny diaper. My pen is bigger.
Yeah.
So they really struggle. In terms of even breathing, they have to have assistance. At times, even eating, they can't, like, breastfeed and things like that. So there's really, and they suffer a lot of complications as compared to a full-term baby. So they definitely experience a lot of, challenges growth-wise. And at times it can extend even after your hospital stay. We're talking about prematurity being the leading cause of deaths for children under 5. So, to answer your question.
So, one of the leading causes of death of children under 5,
yes.
under 5 mortality is this.
Yes.
Is the fact that they were born too soon.
Prematurity, yes. And they develop complications as
And
a result
they
of
develop
that.
complications.
Yes.
It's because of where now they're growing. Like you said, it's in the incubator. Okay. So is there a way the antenatal visits, because you're supposed to do what? How many antenatal visits? 6?
3.
3 in the time of pregnancy.
3 is ultrasound. But as we recommend at least 1 visit a month.
Every
we
month.
just say, because you don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the ministry says at least 6
Yes.
antenatal visits.
Yes,
When
yes.
you're going there for those antenatal visits, is it possible for the medic to detect whether you are prone to hypertension and preeclampsia or not?
So during the visits, definitely they check your blood pressure. So that's the one way they can be able to identify during a visit, and also checking how, your physical appearance or how you're also feeling. But also an ultrasound check can be able to show if your baby is actually growing. And that's one of the signs that will show if, you're going to deliver prematurity, if your baby is not growing. Personally, my baby stopped growing at 26 weeks and I was already 30 weeks. So that informed, with my second baby, that informed the doctor that we actually need to deliver this baby fast.
Okay.
Because they saw through an ultrasound that the baby is actually not growing.
What causes that?
The pressure.
It's again the pressure.
Yes.
So this pressure will lead to early birth, early delivery, It could also lead to low birth weight.
Yes. It can also lead to death. It can also lead to brain damage. It can also lead to organ failure.
For both mother and baby?
For the mom.
For the mom.
Yes.
Through your experience now with your first baby, Zuri, and this is where you named your foundation, Zuri Zilani.
Yes.
Because of your baby. So you are admitted for an entire month. You are delivered of the baby, and then 49... how many weeks later?
49 days.
Yeah, 49 days later, the baby passed on. That must have been devastating for you.
It still is.
It still must be, right?
Yeah.
So through that journey of that Zuri and then coming to try for the second baby, that also cannot have been easy.
Yes, it was very hard,
As you are going through that journey, you're thinking, all right, I remember what happened to Zuri. I remember what happened to Zuri, and I've got to try.
Yeah.
This second time, when you're again told, okay, your blood pressure is coming to this level, your baby has stopped growing, what then also goes through your mind?
I was devastated even when I found out, because after Zuri's death, I made sure I'm not going to get pregnant at least for 5 years, and I did everything necessary to ensure that. Yeah, but I got pregnant maybe 5 months after that.
After the fifth year?
No, after 5 months after the death of Zuri. And in my head, I really wanted to terminate on medical grounds.
You were not prepared.
I was not prepared, and even the doctors were telling me, you have two options: either to terminate this pregnancy because you also have a C-section scar, you're still healing. We usually give 2 years for you to, stabilize. And I was scared because I almost lost my life 5 months ago, So I had two options: either to terminate on medical grounds or to take it as a high-risk pregnancy. And let me tell you, the entire pregnancy was filled with a lot of anxiety. I even was prescribed for anxiety medication during my pregnancy because it was so difficult. And now being told your blood pressure is here again, the only thing that gave me a bit of hope is that I knew my symptoms the second time. So I knew if I feel like this, I can't stay at home. I have to go to the hospital. So this time round, I was more aware, but it did not negate the fact that it was emotionally straining. And I delivered in the same hospital where my baby died, and I was in the same facility where she died. But now the hospital was so kind to put me in another wing, not close to where my other child passed, Yeah. So it was devastating. It was not easy, but we took it a day at a time.
It's interesting. You have anxiety, and you have an inclination towards being hypertensive.
It's not helping the situation.
No, it doesn't help. In fact, it doesn't help at all.
Yeah.
That's a catch-22 situation.
Yes.
You're anxious that the blood pressure will kick in, and that anxiety actually now that helps it actually kick in.
Yeah.
Would you say that you have understood it to the point where you can actually manage your anxiety?
I wouldn't. It's hard.
I don't even answer it quickly.
It's hard. It's hard because I was even having a conversation recently about having kids, and your heart is basically walking outside. You can see your heart literally walking, and you panic every time. The thing is, after losing a child and having other children, the fear of death is so tangible. Like you fear everything, something might happen. And I remember my pediatrician used to tell me, Ashley, this baby is not going to die. And she assures me she's not going to die. She's okay. We are 1.1 kgs. We are leaving NICU now. We are going to NHD, which is now less intensive, like a less intensive ward. So that assurity also was okay. She's not going to die. And I mentally tell myself, okay, she's going to live. She's okay. Because being born at less than a kilo, I didn't even think this kid is going to survive. And even when the how she came I was I had like something they call placenta abruption, which means the placenta detaches itself from the uterus and it caused bleeding. That's also one of the causes where moms die. And I went to this hospital, and when I walked in bleeding, the security guard said, wasichana wenye wanaingianga kwa hospitali hivi hawatokangi. Now I just knew. My life is over.
That was the watchman giving you expert medical advice.
Said that, and when I think about it now, that makes me quite sad. That makes me quite sad, because I went in just to check my pressure because I was feeling bad, and the doctor, there was no even like a gyna in the hospital at the time. So in my head, I was like, true, he's actually right, because I needed an emergency attention. So if I was to wait for a doctor, I would have died in that bed. He was right, yeah. But I was transferred to now the hospital where I gave birth, and it was quite chaotic. But when I reached to now this other hospital where I gave birth, they had to resuscitate my baby because she had already flatlined.
No, he was right in so far.
It was his observation.
Not only his observation, he was giving a very condemning indictment of the health facility.
Yeah. And the bad thing about it is that how he said it.
And
to whom he was saying. I mean, don't say it to the person.
And I was panicking. Right? I'm bleeding. I'm like, oh my God, I'm losing my life.
You don't have to come and say, where, by the way?
Where,
So you then, after going through this, decided, let me start a foundation and create awareness and all. Now you'll tell us about that foundation and your experience then interacting with other women and seeing whether women really understood what they were going through, and even the experiences that now you've heard from other women who've joined your foundation and we've shared. Let's take a break. It's 27 minutes to 8. Kenya's biggest conversation is starting November with commemoration of it's called?
World Prematurity Awareness Month.
World Prematurity Awareness Month.
Yes.
Ashley Muteti is the founder and executive director of the Zuri Nzilani Foundation. Zuri Nzilani is a immortalization of her firstborn, who was born premature and unfortunately passed on. But then she's had 2 other babies. And she'll tell us about this foundation and the importance of then creating awareness about this. The premature babies, why we must take care of these tiny hearts who have big futures.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Hi everyone. You may have heard about the official Study in Ireland fair happening next.